Alright guys, got a battle here against Pearl from Serbia Wi-Fi chat. Start out with Salamence and I start out with Laponi as usual. This is not a roulette battle. So I get my T-Wave in and he Dragon Claws. It does a nice amount of damage, though Laponi is pretty bulky, so it takes it quite nicely. I switch in Skarmory, takes a Dragon Claw, and I thought it was like a choice scarf. A choice item. And it turns out it wasn't. So I take the flamethrower. Luckily I was predicting the switch, so I went with Roar just to shuffle his team around. I get the switch in Slowbro, which is kinda nice because I know I'm faster, so I'm able to pull out that roost before it hits me. So I roost up. It does about half damage, half of my health bar, so I could just roost up for like the rest of the day. I roost once again, he switches out, brings in Porygon Z. Porygon Z gets his special attack boost, and I switch to Blissey, and he nasty plot subs. And now he's got +3 special defense, and he hits me with Tri Attack. And Blissey is just so beast, it should be considered uber. Take a look at that. It did like 2/3 of Blissey's HP, and it was a crit. Now, how beastly is that? God, it's just amazing. So I get my recovery and he switches out to Heracross. Now I wasn't actually sure whether it was a Choice Scarf or Choice Bandit, so I switched this thing in as a Death Fodder. Takes a crit, not a big deal. He gets the defense drops, and I bring in Shredder, which is my Swampert. It's a Choice Bandit Swampert. So I was, what do I want to use? I go for the Ice Punch because I knew Salamence was still around. Ice Punch does a nice chunk of damage, and I go for Ice Punch again because I'm stuck with the Choice item. He switches out, brings in Heracross back in, and Heracross takes the Ice Punch, does more than half, and he switches out again and brings in Slowbro, which is what he should have done since the beginning. Slowbro takes the Ice Punch like a physical wall, and I gotta get the hell out of here. I was thinking about switching in Breloom, but I went safe and I went for Blissey just to find out that Slowbro had physical psychic, which wasn't cool. Breloom would have gotten completely annihilated. So I get my rocks up and he brings out Salamence. He goes for the Dragon Claw and does a bit more than half with leftovers recovery. It's about half, and I switch out, bring in Swampert, and he Dragon Dances up. Now right here, what I should have done, I should have gone for Ice Punch, but I didn't because I predicted the switch. So I went for Return because I was still afraid of Slowbro. So I went for Return, which would deal at least normal damage. And he Dragon Claws me, which does a lot because this Slowbro is not as bulky, as defensive as the other ones are. So yeah, so Swampert finishes that off, and in comes Heracross. Heracross just takes that hit and deals that hit and finishes that off. Now I bring in Skarmory, and I went for Brave Bird for the KO, and he brings in Slowbro. So yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna lay down some spikes, and he selects off. So far so good for me. I lay down more spikes, as you guys are just about to see. Lay down more spikes and he serves me. As I said before, it does half of my health bar. So I know I could lay down more spikes, but I decided to switch out to Breloom, and he switches out to Heracross, which blows. I was like, oh fuck, are you kidding me? So I wasn't sure what move he was gonna use, so I just brought in Starmie, because Starmie does resist close combat, but it was kind of risky though. But anyway, so Starmie finishes that off with the T-Ball, and that makes me realize it was a Choice Bandit. So now he brings in Porygon Z. Porygon Z gets a special attack boost, which sucks for me. I go for Surf, just for kicks. He goes under a third of a health bar and gets the speed boost, which doesn't actually matter because paralysis still is still mandatory. I mean, kicking in. I mean, you know the drill. I set up a sub because I want to get the paralysis hacks, so I'll get a free sub out of it. So I set up another sub. He ice beams me for the second time. Not too much of a big deal. I can sub up for quite a while actually because I get a nice chunk of HP back from a poison heal. He gets the paralysis hacks, which sucks for him and which is nice for me. I finished that off with Seed Bomb, which is nice and dandy. He brings in Gengar. Gengar nearly dies for the Stealth Rock. It would have been nice if he did die, but so what? What can you do? He takes out my sub, and I finish it off with Seed Bomb. Now I'm praying to God that his last Pokemon that I did not see is not faster than Breloom, because otherwise it would screw me over. Turns out that he brings in Slowbro in, which is kind of weird. I mean, he should have brought in a faster Pokemon in since my sub was down. I Spore and I set up a sub just to go safe. And as you guys can see, he wakes up on the following turn. So I get my sub up and his legs off, and I go for Spore again, and that's why he didn't switch his last unseen Pokemon in, because his last unseen Pokemon in is also pretty damn slow. So I go for the Focus Punch. He switches out, brings in Slowbro. Slowbro resists it. Not too much of a big deal, because it's gonna do just enough damage for me to KO on the following turn with Seed Bomb. Because I thought Seed Bomb was a 2-hit KO on a fully healthy Slowbro. So that's Slowbro down, that's Snorlax up and asleep. I'm just gonna go for the Focus Punch, and that's the game. Good game. He played really well. He didn't disconnect, which is very surprising. And yeah, comment, rate, subscribe. Good game. Peace.